Welcome to our comprehensive analysis of a hypothetical battle between two of history's most iconic military leaders, Napoleon Bonaparte and Julius Caesar. Join us as we delve into their respective strategies, tactics, and capabilities, and determine who would emerge victorious in this epic clash of titans. Napoleon Bonaparte, emperor of the French and mastermind of the Napoleonic Wars, rose to prominence through his military genius and political cunning. His innovative tactics and strategic vision reshaped the face of European warfare, earning him a place among history's greatest military commanders. Julius Caesar, on the other hand, was a legendary Roman general and statesman who conquered Gaul and solidified his power in Rome through military conquest and political maneuvering. His military campaigns in Gaul and his civil war against the Roman Senate cemented his legacy as one of antiquity's most formidable leaders. Napoleon, renowned for his audacity and boldness on the battlefield, would likely adopt a strategy of rapid maneuver and decisive action against Caesar's forces. Drawing on his experience in mobile warfare, Napoleon would seek to outmaneuver and encircle Caesar's army, exploiting any weakness in his opponent's formations and lines of communication. Napoleon would also leverage his artillery and cavalry forces to launch devastating attacks on Caesar's flanks, aiming to disrupt his formations and sow chaos among his ranks. Napoleon's army would consist of a well-disciplined and highly trained force, comprising infantry divisions, cavalry regiments, and artillery batteries. His infantry formations, armed with muskets and bayonets, would form the backbone of his offensive capabilities, while his cavalry units, including the elite Imperial Guard, would provide mobility and firepower on the battlefield. Additionally, Napoleon's artillery would play a crucial role in softening up Caesar's defenses and breaking through his lines. Caesar, a master of strategy and logistics, would likely adopt a defensive posture initially, seeking to lure Napoleon into a trap and wear down his forces through attrition. Drawing on his experience in siege warfare and defensive tactics, Caesar would fortify his positions and establish strong defensive lines, utilizing natural obstacles and terrain features to his advantage. Caesar would also deploy his cavalry and auxiliary forces to conduct reconnaissance and harassment operations against Napoleon's flanks, seeking to disrupt his supply lines and communications. Caesar's army would consist of a diverse array of military units, including legions of heavily armored infantry, cohorts of cavalry and auxiliaries recruited from allied attributes and tribes and nations. His infantry formations, armed with gladius swords and pilum javelins, would form the core of his defensive strategy, holding the line against Napoleon's assaults. Additionally, Caesar's cavalry would provide mobility and flexibility on the battlefield. As the two armies converge on the battlefield, Napoleon would initiate the engagement with a series of probing attacks and foreign retreats, seeking to draw Caesar's forces out of their defensive positions. Meanwhile, Caesar would hold firm, maintaining his defensive lines and conserving his strength for a counteroffensive. As the battlefield unfolds, Napoleon's artillery would fire on Caesar's positions, unleashing a barrage of cannonballs and grapeshot on his infantry formations. Caesar's legions would withstand the bombardment, forming shield walls and bracing for the impending assault. Napoleon's infantry divisions would then advance, launching coordinated attacks on Caesar's flanks and center, seeking to break through his lines and encircle his forces. As the battle reaches its climax, Caesar would unleash his reserves, launching a counteroffensive against Napoleon's exposed flanks and rear echelons. His cavalry and auxiliaries would sweep down on Napoleon's formations, cutting off his retreat and inflicting heavy casualties on his forces. Meanwhile, Caesar's infantry would hold the line, preventing Napoleon from breaking through and exploiting any gaps in his defenses. In the end, despite Napoleon's audacity and tactical brilliance, Caesar's defensive strategy and disciplined army would prove to be too formidable to overcome. Caught in a deadly pincer movement and surrounded on all sides, Napoleon's forces would suffer a crushing defeat at the hands of Caesar's legions. The battle would mark a turning point in history, cementing Caesar's reputation as one of antiquity's greatest military commanders and reshaping the course of Western civilization. In conclusion, while both Napoleon Bonaparte and Julius Caesar were undoubtedly formidable military leaders in their own right, it is Caesar's defensive prowess and disciplined army that would ultimately secure him victory in his hypothetical battle. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more captivating content.